right, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Or today? I don't know. Wherever you're at in the world. Let me see. Do we have sound? Is everything working correctly? Yep. This is. It sounds. It looks like it's the right one, right? How's everyone doing? Saxon MS. Australia, another one from Australia. When does the Q night start? Usually about right now. Yeah, it took me a little while to get sorted out here. I was trying to get this out earlier, but I just couldn't. I just had so much stuff to do. There's so much batteries. Hi from Quebec, Canada. You must be putting the dogs in the bus. Yeah. Let's see. How hot can an 18650 take? Whoa, that's actually a good question. I actually wanted to ask you guys that. So, I'm trying to figure out. There's some batteries that I'm testing, and I'm like. So I'm working on a video where I'm gonna explain to you guys how to test batteries, right? Because I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I see a lot of questions from people, and I'm like, you can just test this. You don't need no specialized. I mean, it would help you have a specialized equipment, but you don't need it. You could totally just test stuff. And in fact, my testing has proven that it's pretty reliable because we were able to pick up some anomalies on some batteries. And then once we dig up more, you're like, oh, yeah, guess what? That showed up in our testing, right? So that video is coming up. But there are some batteries that are like, that don't have data sheets, right? Like there are, only like the big companies make these. So we're essentially like, if you were to make a data sheet, what would you consider a battery like, what temperature would you, and like, it's crazy, like I don't know what criteria they use, right? But just by going off of like the known batteries, let's see, here's which one is this one? The M36, right? Those are really cool ones that I'm testing. That one goes up to 60, maximum 5 amps, and at 5 amp discharge, it's 60 degrees Celsius. All right, so that one's actually cool. If 60 degrees is not that hot, you can totally grab it with your hand. It's like, here's the LGMH1. That one, it's a maximum of 10 amps and also a maximum of 60 C, so 60 degrees Celsius. So those match right there. Those are the same manufacturer, so that would make sense there, right? But here we go. The 26F, 5.2 amps, which is kind of weird. 5.2 amps is the max. And it's not down to 2.5 volts. This one, the spec sheet specifies 2.75, right? Discharge operating temperature. Oh, look at that. Up to 60 degrees. Okay, so there's 3 for 60. There we go. 60 degrees is starting to feel like a pattern here. What is this? No, man, come on. Delete this. I don't want this. Okay. Here we go. The E35 with a max output of 8 amps, that's also 60 C. Oh, I might have answered my own question. Here it is. Another cell with a max temperature of 60 C. Okay, here's a weird one though. 25R. That one supposedly is the max is 15 amps. And that one at 15 amps, you'll see 78 degrees, right? So that's about 18 degrees higher than the other ones. For some reason, the 25R can safely operate at about 18 degrees higher than all the other ones. And that's, out of these bunch, that's the only one that's like a power cell. So I guess maybe if they're power cells, they can operate slightly higher. But if they're energy cells, you should stay around 60 degrees, right? So that's how because I don't know what the criteria that people are using to estimate what's the safe temperature that a cell can be at, right? When you read the spec sheets. That's, you know, they say a bunch of stuff. Let's see, what are you guys saying here? Am I just talking to myself, or are you guys actually following? Where's the BW? The BW is in the room, in the door on the other side of that. I mean, on the wall, in the room on the other side. So, yeah, I need to make a video about that pretty soon, especially since I'm working on the batteries. Which, by the way, we just had that discussion. Yeah, these batteries are awesome. By the way, these are the 3600s, right? LG M36s. There's like another 2,000 of these available right now. I should be like pushing them, but I'm like, man, I want to buy them. Because there's only 32. There's only 2,000 of them. But check it out. I've been doing the test. These things are testing out pretty awesome. So at max, the max, this is an energy cell, obviously, right? So at 5 amps is the maximum the spec sheet specifies, right? And remember, it said like 60 degrees. Look at these guys. They're giving me 3250, this one, right? I did 10 of them over there. And I'll show you in the video, like 45 degrees Celsius. These things are running cool. They're actually cooler than the spec sheet specifies. So, by the way, if you're looking for high energy cells or high density, yeah, go to kit.com/Jehu, look for the M36 cells. There's some available right now. They're not gonna last forever. They're a good price. They're brand new. At least the first batch, they were like brand new with no spot welds. I think that is the case for the next 2,000. Although I haven't checked with the seller to see, because I know he was telling me that a lot of them had, like, when they took them apart from the things, that a lot of the wrappings like got damaged and stuff, right? So that's what you're, that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting for $3, which is like way below, even though they're brand new, right? But they have that blemish or whatever, or they have glue, like this one has glue there and stuff. But other than that, cells should be pretty fairly new, within less than a year old, with 0 cycles on them, right? They haven't been actually spot welded on there. Yeah. So, like, if you were to get those even from China and stuff, they would be, because I'm pricing all those right now. So, if you need that, boom, go get them. Don't buy them all, because I want to get some too, but I just don't have money right now. So, let's see here. Last Trending says, I have a lot of questions. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys have so many questions. Okay, whatever happened to Michael Bream's BMW? Saw the video on smoking the tires. Nothing. Go look at my videos. I have one recently where he put a Tesla motor on it, and we're doing donuts. We're drifting that guy. So yeah, I gotta go and do more videos about that car, because it's pretty amazing. I think there's not enough coverage on that car. That's actually a pretty cool car. At our time buying the Sandflare C4, only comes in EU plug now. Oh, we're buying a lot of them. Yeah, they might become scarce. I know Tom was buying all of them for a little while. I don't know if that's still happening, but he was cleaning out the market, all the stocks. So that's why you might only have those ones. What's your opinion on different cell capacities in a DIY module? I have cells ranging from 2400 to 1250 milliamp hours, all balanced with the repacker program, as long as they're matched. And I mean by match, all the groups have to have the same amount of, like, strong cells, or big 2400. When you add up all the cells capacity, they have to equal about the same, right? And that's what repacker does. That's what it helps you, right? You do have to pay a little bit more attention, though, because, like, even if they are exactly the same, well, let me see. Yeah, like, you can have, okay, so there's, like, let's say there's a cell that is 2,000 milliamp hours, right? There is a difference of those 22,000 milliamp hours. Like, if it was a 2,200 milliamp hour cell, then that one's, like, has very little degradation, right? But if it was a 3600 milliamp hours, right? Like let's say for example this one, and if it was a 2000, then this one's like way farther degraded. So it's not the same. Those cells are not going to perform exactly the same. So even though in the groups, even though they add up, you know, the same in capacity, you have to pay a little bit of attention of the cells, you know, what kind of cells. If you have a bunch of degraded ones, you know, in one module and a bunch of like slightly degraded ones in the other ones, then that module might do better. And the way you do that, you know, once you assemble all your pack, you run a load test. You load up your thing like to max or whatever that you've designed your system. And then hopefully like you can have meters where you can see how much they're sagging. If you want one group that is sagging like a lot more than all the other ones, then there's going to be problems, because obviously even though they're like almost closely matched to each other, that means that group is weak. And so you might want to replace that group with like another one that's equal capacity but with stronger cells, so that they can you know, it could keep up with the rest of them. So when you load them up, they should all like sag evenly also, right? Those are the challenges with using used batteries. You got to do a lot of work to form your because you're starting off with a bunch of like uneven cells, right? So you gotta, yeah, if the better you do that at the beginning, when you put your pack together, then the less problems you'll ever see. I get a lot of questions like, what happens if a cell goes in the middle of a giant thing? It's like, it shouldn't happen. If that happens, then you didn't assemble your pack correctly. If that's happening too much, it's going to happen, right? But it's going to be a rare thing. Like, and if it's going to be rare, just like if one of the cells goes and it's in the middle of your pack, just leave it. Who cares? You know, it's like a tiny bit of hopefully like a big battery pack. Yeah. So why are you gonna like go in there and take it all, tore it all apart or whatever, just to fix that one cell? Most likely, you're not gonna even be able to tell. You're gonna be like, that thing, maybe I didn't do such a good job. Like that's not if it's happening a lot where. All right, there we go. I think I am back now. Let's see. Let's hope so. So there's all kinds of air. The winds are really crazy in California right now. So I think that's the reason why the internet is kind of shady right now, kind of shaky. Not a lot of... let's see. Am I live? How do I do that? I don't see the chat going. Am I back? Can you guys see me? Or no? Or am I talking to myself here? Yeah, I don't know. Come on. It doesn't seem to be working. are we back now? I think we're back, right? Oh my god, this stupid connection. It's dumb. And I can't use my phone anymore. For some reason, I used it earlier this month to like transfer some files or something, and I only get like 10 gigs or something on my phone. So I got the notification that I'm like close to like my limit for hotspotting. By the way, if someone knows how to trick the phone, my iPhone, into not knowing that I'm hot spotting, then we could do this, you know. So yeah, without counting as a hotspot thing, because I get unlimited connection, but at hotspot it's only 10 gigs, and then they throttle me after that. So that doesn't work, man. Doesn't work. So I know you could probably redo it. I mean, you probably do it. It's just I don't know how to do it, or like someone out there is gonna know how to do it. Hopefully, it's like a simple way, not, you know, like some crazy jail. You have to jailbreak your phone or whatever. I don't know. Is people still jailbreaking their phones? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, my stream is not working. Pablo from Argentina. Let's see. Island time scene. Let's see. No, that's not for May. Whoa, Christopher Grady. Thank you for the $2. At least help Jay with $2. Thanks. Yes, guys, please help me out. At least with $2. We've been back a long time. I'm just reading the chat delay. Oh, okay. Is that what's happening here? Let me see. No, I'm at the bottom. Okay. How come no wired internet? No, I am wired. This is my internet, but it's my phone seems to be faster and more stable than my wired internet. So I usually, whenever this starts giving me trouble, I just jump into my phone, set it as hotspot, right? But I have only 10 gigs, you know, allotment of that through the month, and I guess I used them up this month really early. So now I gotta be on my Wi-Fi, wired thing, right? Let's see. I know how to trick phone, but you need a credit card to pay. What? What do you mean a credit card to pay? I would like to replace them with like batteries and then... okay, so you're having a conversation there. I don't know. You can trick your phone if everyone donates at least $2 to you. I don't know if it's about the money. Like, carriers don't usually give you like a lot of upstream. You know, like download, it's fine. It's unlimited, right? I can just like be on there all day watching movies. It's just I can't be uploading for some reason. Like they don't have the YouTuber, you know, plan that you know that. So yeah, I don't know if that would help, because I remember looking for this and telling them, look, I need to be able to upload because I'm a YouTuber, and they're like, well, this is the best plan that we have or whatever. Let's see. If you're using a browser, you have to change some settings to think it's coming from your phone. I'll look into that real quick. Please clarify what revision of the latest for the PCB. The latest is 2.01. That's the latest one. If you go to kit.com/Jehu, in fact, I'll type it in here so that you can just click on it, hopefully. Yeah. World Wide Web, kit.com/Jehu. Go to the one that says Powerwall Project PCB or Jehu's Power. I don't remember what it's called. And then there's going to be 3 PCBs there. Those are the 3 versions. Yeah, and it's confusing because I called it 1, 2, 3, which I think that should be pretty simple, right? But Justin, the guy that did the layout, he started calling it something different. Like he was like 1.3 at one point. I think that was the last one that he called it. But now it's version 2.01. So hopefully we'll keep that version and whatever changes I think it's because he's doing a bunch of changes, right? Like it's like a release, but in the release there's a bunch of revisions in between. Like, oh, we added this thing, oh, we changed that, oh, that didn't work, let's do the thing, oh, that fuse didn't work. There's been a bunch of development. It's not just like a thing, you know, and a lot of it has been done by him, a lot of it from me. I don't have one. I order them as soon as I could get them, and then I share them with you. I should have just probably held on to that, because I'm not, you know, because there's not a lot of drastic changes. So that's what I thought. Like, most of this should work. There's only like adding a few more holes here, adding the bias. One of the big issues was that I was hearing is that the little sends, well, what are they? The balance traces here only have one bias, I think that's what it's called, or bias, which is the mechanism that connects the one layer from one side to the other. And apparently, even though there's a fuse right here, well, the fuse might allow more current, withstand more current than the bias, and so if that happens, then instead of burning the fuse here where we can see it, it would burn right here in that little hole. And so if that happens, then it's going to be nearly impossible to to find why, you know, there's no signal coming out of that balance port, right? So in order to prevent that, then we added an extra few. I think he did like 3 of them. So what that does is it makes sure that that connection is a lot stronger than the actual fuse here, so that the fuse will burn 100% of the time, and it won't, you know, yeah. So the fuse is the fuse, and not the rest of the traces becomes a fuse. What else did we change here? Oh, yes. So he added some terminals here that will allow you to have a screw terminal on the terminals here, right? And so that's what those 4 little holes are there. I'm going to share. Wait, did I share that? I don't know if I did share that. I'll have to look, right? But he did it so that we can, like, you know, put like a bus bar across with like holes, and then you can just screw all of them like that, and you'll make like a way stronger like connection between all the boards. That's what he designed it for, but I'm like, oh, a lot of people are just going to use them as screw-on terminals. That's what I'm going to use them. And I think it doesn't interfere with the things. What's it called? The standoffs. So it's going to be great. It allows you to have a, like every board, or every 10 boards, or whatever you want to do. If you want to do a bit like long stack, you just have screw-on terminals there. So then you can connect ring terminals and then put a bunch of little wires or whatever. So it's just a lot. It opens up a lot more freedom of how to like connect all these boards and stuff. Rick Harrow, thank you for the $20. Battery modules made with holders suck. Battery modules made with holders suck. Well, I guess we like sucking. I think it fits our build, so that's why we're building them, because we want to build large battery packs, and those will put out like 100 watts, I think, continuous. And so when you have, you know, when you have a large, so basically that turns out to be like about 1C output, right? So when you have like a 10 kilowatt battery pack or Powerwall, DIY Powerwall, then it allows you to do like 10 kilowatt out, right? 10 kilowatt will run pretty much anything in your house. Of course, it'll only do it for 1 hour. So depending on what setup you're doing, you know, you're gonna have a huge battery for your house, and it's always gonna be less than 1C. I mean, you're gonna be working at a quarter C, or, you know, so then it's gonna last a long time. I mean, you know, 1/12 of C or whatever, 1/12 of the capacity of the battery, so that it can last 12 hours or 24, whatever it is that you end up designing the thing. So that's why we're using those. They're mass produced, so economies of scale, we're going to be able to bring the price of that PCB way lower, right? So then it's going to be good. let's see here. How'd you got a supplier in China that can get Panasonic 18650s 3400 milliamp hours brand new at $390 cost without shipping? I live in Guam, USA. I can ship directly to US or from Guam, then ship USPS Guam to USA. Yeah, that's cool. Except, I mean, I think we're talking to some suppliers that are probably less than that. So yeah, thank you for that. But I think that's a bit expensive, you know. Yeah, so at least from what I know, those are the Panasonic. Maybe not for Panasonics. Panasonics are expensive. Those are high quality batteries. I bought some Sony VTC6 cells for a drone project, and I suspect they may be counterfeit. Anyway, to tell for sure if they are legit Sony cells, well, yeah, you're gonna have to watch my next video. But essentially, I see a lot of people like having this like arguments where like the way to tell is by the color of the wrapper, by the font on the thing, the cap, like there are a bunch of like physical attributes to the cell, and it's really unreliable because in reality none of us really know what's official use for that cell. When Panasonic decided, what's to say that Panasonic didn't like run out of that one cap with the one style of thing, and they just decided to change it halfway through like a production run. They're not going to ask us permission, they're just going to do it, right? And so physical attributes are really not a good way. And then you talk to people and no one seems to agree as to what any cell looks like. Some people are like, no, it should be this, it should be that. I've seen cells that look legit and have like different color wrappings on it, right? Some people, yeah, there's a bunch of like stuff that you just have to question where they come from, right? Like, it's just people are making assumptions. Like, this is probably, a good because I've seen that before. So they use like, I got some legit cells and they look like this before. This batch looks different, therefore it must be fake. And it's like, well, no, what if it's not? What if it's just made in a different factory from Panasonic? So I think the best way to tell if a cell is legit or genuine is by actually just doing performance tests. So you look at the spec sheet, then you put it on your charger, and then you like load it up, and then you see, how hot it gets. You see like, what the graphs look like, and if the graphs match the description and the spec sheet, then most likely you're gonna have a legit cell. Even if it looks like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's some guidelines as to the physical thing, right? But I think they're not, like a thing that you should like, that's the only thing. If this doesn't match here, it must be fake, as many people seem to claim. I see a lot of statements like that. It's like, no, it's fake because of this. And it's like, well, what if not? Let's see. God thanks 0407. Thank you for the $5. Can you help me out with some 500E questions? Yeah, go for it. I mean, I don't know if I know much about the 500E. I know there's some batteries that we use from the 500E. Any roadmap as to what will be revised when? No, not right now. Right now, we're just trying to go as fast as we can, and we're testing stuff. Yeah, I mean, these are kind of not like, I'm making them available and you guys are buying them. There's like thousands of these boards already out there, but it's still kind of in beta, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't done like an official release. I haven't made the ultimate like videos. Like, by the way, my idea of the release of that board is, I'm going to show you the test, and I'm going to show you like the different configurations that you can make, and I'll be like, okay, now let's make a power wall, and I'm show you how to get them, how to put together the cells, how to arrange the thing, how to put it in a box, put it in the wall, strap a inverter, and then run some tests. Not just of like the actual board level, things, but also like as a pack. You make a little pack, a small one, or make like a big one, like I don't know, 5-10 kilowatt hours. And then run that, and then run some tests like that. That's my ultimate video. That's what I want to do. It's a big project, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the reason why it's kind of taking a while. We're still working on on the board, and it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it with version 2, right? Version 2, it's ready to go, it works and stuff. And then you're like, yeah, the connectors are not the greatest. Some people are having trouble. I myself was having trouble because I got some cheap, crappy connectors. The quality was really low, and I'm like, And I'm hearing from other people, and so I'm like, okay, let's change that connector now. Like, there's other connectors, why not just change them now? And so then I decided to not do a video and not do that final release or the official release with that version because of that connector. I know I eventually have to like pick one and just do it, right? Because again, it's an open source thing. I've actually made the working files available. If you go to kit.com/Jehu and then the DIY Powerwall PCB or whatever, there is a working file, the Eagle files there now. So if you know how to design, if you know how to use Eagle, then you can go and make your changes there. This is going to be an open source project. It's going to be eventually deviate from the official, version that I'm going to endorse, but there's going to be a lot of people that are going to do other stuff to it. They're going to change the thing to other type of connectors, to other, like, that's going to end up being like a 14S, it's going to end up being a 10S, a 3S, right? And like all that stuff. It's going to end up being all kinds of things, as many of the open source projects happen. So yeah, it's kind of hard to have a roadmap. So right now, I'm just trying to get something that I can say, this works, as good as I can make it work, and I'm going to officially release it with a big video where I show you beginning to end kind of thing. And then, and I think that might be this version. I think I'm happy with this one now with the, because I'm also like, I'm a bit over my head when it comes to this. Like, I've never done this, my first board, right? And so I'm taking the advice of some people that have more experience than me. And so they, I'm leaning on them and their knowledge and stuff and their experience. And then, yeah, I'm just like making changes as they're telling me. Like that bias thing, that came from someone that has, a lot of experience building boards commercially. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Argue with a guy? Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. I don't know anything. So I got to listen to him, right? And so, yeah, hopefully nothing major comes up. And that way... there's no major changes now. There's just minimal and like stuff that happens. Rick Harrell, thank you for the $5. 1,000-watt GridTie inverter and a 3,000-watt inverter running together. Is it possible? Yeah, if they're GridTie, you could totally do it. So GridTies, the way they work is they take the grid and they take that and then they match that sine wave, right, of the grid. And then all they do is they add up a slightly higher voltage. And I think it's like 1 volt or something. And so what that does is it allows for a voltage. It allows for power or energy transfer from that device to the grid. And so if you have one in that grid, in that same line, 1,000 watts. So that one's pushing 1,000, a maximum of 1,000 watts there, right? You have a 3,000, then that one's gonna like try to push 3,000 watts. I don't know exactly how they react when there's not, something else that is consuming that. It's weird because, with the grid, like it's an open grid. You're connected. You're like electrically connected to like another 20 homes. At least here in the States, that's how it works, right? And so someone's going to use that power, right? It's like the flow of energy is usually from, the utility down to homes. So when you're pushing that power back into the grid, if your home is not using it, it goes back out of your meter, out into that grid. But then it doesn't like go back into like, the transformer that goes higher. It usually stays there and it just goes, and it goes to your neighbor's house because they're using more energy because that energy is flowing to all those homes, right? And so it doesn't go very far. Like your electrons, your energy that you're putting in there, if your house is using it, then it just goes there. If it's not, then it just goes down to the next path of least resistance kind of thing. I don't know what happens when you have a microgrid. It just turns off, I think. Yeah, so that's just what happens. Like if you have a microgrid, if you have like a 1,000 watt inverter grid tie, and then you have a regular inverter, you couldn't plug them together. There's people that do it, right? So in order to wake up like a bunch of like microgrid inverters, right? Like you have a solar system in your house, and each panel has like a microgrid, a micro inverter. In order to wake them up, like in a emergency situation or whatever, all you have to do is just backfeed, 110 volts or whatever, like from just a regular inverter. But I don't know, like if you have like, I don't know, 5,000 watts coming in from the roof into a little 1,000 watt inverter, and there's nothing consuming that energy, I don't know if it'll ruin that inverter, the regular inverter that is providing the grid. I got to do some. I mean, someone's done this, and I think if you just look at, it'll be out there. I personally haven't done it. I don't know how those would react. I don't know where they blow up. I've heard that they would blow up and stuff. So, yeah, but you could totally, if you're running them side by side for the grid, you could totally do it. Let's see. LG Prep says you can buy 6,000 milliamp power cells, 8 from China. No. For $1 a piece. No, well, I mean, yes, you can buy them, but they're not real. When you test them, they're not going to be. Oh, the only problem is that they're probably 1,200 milliamp hours. Yes, instead of. Yes, that is true. So that's why I'm testing a bunch of batteries. I don't know if you've seen. I have like this. The whole batteries here are from China. These are China batteries. I'm testing them, and I'm pretty excited because there's a lot of good stuff in there. Like I'm checking them up against the spec sheets, and they're legit stuff. And the stuff that's not legit, it comes up in my testing, and I'm like, hey, what's up here? So yeah, that video is gonna be, I think, very useful for a lot of you guys to be able to tell the fakes, the good ones from the fakes, because I think we all need to do that. And it's slightly different than testing, because we're all testing, right? Like we're all testing cells, but mostly just use, and we're testing just for capacity, how much life is left into the battery, what condition the batteries are now. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're testing. Where when you're testing new cells, it's a different thing. Now you're trying to compare to like what the published performance of that battery is. So Christopher Grady, you missed my previous super chat. Oh, sorry, Christopher. Let's see. Can I get to it? Is it blue like this? No, it's right there. But it doesn't say anything. Thank you, Christopher Grady. Oh, come on, guys. Oh, I see. Oh, you have a bunch of them, Christopher Grady. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity there. It's still looking for a 10S charger analyzer for e-bike batteries. Anyone seen one? I can only find 8. Yes, that sucks. Like chargers, there's not a lot of 10S chargers. Oh, I mean there is for the bikes, but not. I'll rephrase that. There's not a lot of balance chargers for 10S, and also the monitors. For some reason, like the RC never adopted 10S, I think, pack, so there's a few of them, which is crazy because I'm about to do a little review and maybe build a little project using these guys. Yeah, what you guys saw on the the thumbnail of this video. These are Ruipu Electronic Technology and Company Ltd. And these are pretty nice. Look at this. These are 18650s DVs, NCR 18650 DVs. These are, genuine Panasonic cells. They're 4 in parallel than 10S. So this is basically, what is this? This is 2. Well, it's equivalent to 2 of the hoverboard packs, but with better quality cells. And they're like in this long thing. And so I'm like, instead of, because they were like, should we take them apart? Should we like strip the cells out of them? And I'm like, no, man, this is already this is a pack here. Like it's ready to go. It's got its own BMS. I gotta test the BMS and see if it's if it's just like a regular BMS, it's gonna be great. I'm like, you can throw this on the bottom of a skateboard, and you're gonna get great range out of this. It's a 10S. It's already ready to go. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe put a couple of these underneath the skateboard, and then although they're kind of big, 4 cells. Maybe it's gonna be a off-road skateboard that just to give extra clearance. But yeah, these are not gonna be for a lot of money. I think I saw they're gonna be for like a $150 or 160, something like that. They're like, yeah, it's 40 quality cells here, right? These are the cells that were selling for like $3 not too long ago. And by the way, I think there's more of those. We'll be putting some more of those. I forgot why I was talking about that module. What was I saying? Any word on lithium titanate battery from China? So I was going to test a battery from China. Someone was going to send me one, buy one and send me one so that I could test it, right? And I'm like, ooh, well, I mean, the best I can do, I think, is cycle it like 100 times and then see if we start seeing some pattern into the degradation. That's apart from testing it, load testing, all stuff, right? But it turns out I think the guy was kind of shady. A lot of these Chinese sellers, I usually say, hey, send me some samples. And then whenever they start trying to get me to pay for the samples, I'm like, you're not serious. If you can't send me some samples, right, for approval, then you're not real. You're not right. I'm not dealing with you. Like, you gotta be legit. There's a lot of talkers out there. And if you can't produce a sample, then what are the chances that you're going to produce, a shipment of quality batteries? It's very low, right? So I think that one was a classic example of like it didn't happen. So yeah, I'm contacted by Chinese people like trying to sell me batteries or trying to get me to buy batteries from them every day. And now I'm like, send me some samples. Send me some samples. I'm interested in this kind of battery, that kind of battery. Send me some samples. Send me more than one because I want to sample a batch. Send me 10. Like this last one, 10 cells. I think is good to like get an average because we have crappy equipment. It's not scientific or very accurate equipment. We're using just off the shelf stuff, and that's it's useful. I think if you do 10 cells, you average them out, you see what's going on there, and then you get a pretty fairly like thing that lets you know what the batteries are. Please give HyperLens a shout out and maybe even check out his channel. He is working really hard to make great content. Who's HyperLens? What does he do? Can't wait for the China battery test. Low budget here. Oh my God. So I'm actually very, very excited because it eliminates. So we're all buying all these batteries that are used, and that's great because they need to be used, right? From an environmental standpoint and stuff. Also because there was like a really good way to get affordable cells. But those batteries keep getting better and better, right? Like they keep now they're like up 2600 milliamp hours. Then there's some like higher 2900 milliamp hours now popping up. These are used, right? And like overstock or these weren't used actually. They were new, but it's like it's a weird thing. How do you define these ones? They're like these cells are there's another category I guess I need to put. These are like bankruptcy cells where a company buys them, then they go bankrupt, and then they're like, well, they just liquidate them, right? So liquidated cells or something, But those are like less than a year old. We have the boxes, they have the dates. 3600 milliamp hours. These are like, like recent cells. They're brand new cells. They're like $5 cells, right? And I mean, if you buy them in a pallet of 20,000, you'll probably get a break. But if you were to just get a box of 100, you're gonna, first it's gonna be hard to get them. Second, you're gonna pay premium for them. So we're starting to get those, right? But because the quality is getting higher, also the prices are getting higher. And so we're like somewhere around like, you know, $1.90 or $190 a kilowatt hour, or, you know, almost $200 a kilowatt hour. And I'm like, for that price, we can get brand new cells, you know? And like the ones that I'm testing are like, I don't know, like close to 3,000 milliamp hours, you know? And then you can get, how many you want? You want 1,000? You want 10,000? We can get them, you know? And so that's the reason why I'm looking into buying new cells, because then it also eliminates a whole kind of all that work that takes for you to, like, you know, that whole conversation about like how to match one group to the other one. All of that disappears when you're using new cells, right? Because they all come from the same batch, so they all, like, you know, if they're quality cells, which we're vetting them, we're doing quite a bit of work to try to find you know, a legit manufacturer in China, and hopefully, like, and I'm going for like a no-name brand, like, because I mean that's what you're gonna be able to get, you know. I mean, also we're looking for distributors and stuff from like the name brand stuff, but the no-name brand one that, like, because there are a lot of OEM, so there's like a lot of good, there's got to be a lot of good battery factories that will make decent products. Just, you know, we don't have to pay a premium because, you know, it doesn't have the Sony brand name to it, or the Panasonic, you know. And so if we can do that, if we can control the quality, if it's not just like some random factory in China, if we could actually like meet the people, go and, you know, check their factory, check their thing, know who they are, know their name, you know, we put a face to the thing, all of a sudden it becomes harder for them to just, like, you know, do shady stuff, right? And so that's what we're looking for. I'm excited. I think we have the product, and I think you guys are gonna like it, because it's all of a sudden, yeah, you're not paying much more than used cells, but you're getting whatever cells you want, and it's like you just pop them in. Like, it's gonna totally work with our system of PCBs. You're gonna be able to get this, pop them in there, make things like within, you know, within hours you'll be able to like set up a big power wall and stuff. So that's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be great. I have an iCharger 1010B. I got one of those and it was really hard to use it. I remember. Wait. Well, maybe not the iCharger. I think it was the version that Rev Electrics made, which was a 10C or a 10S charger, and it was crazy. It was, I didn't like it. It was like kind of old and stuff. My car has 97 SDI prismatic, 64 amp hour batteries. Could I easily replace those with the 94 amp hour batteries? Yeah, you should be able to, right? If the size of the cell is the same, you should be able to. I don't know if that would cause some problems with your software in your car. Sometimes they count amp hours, and if you were to go over that, they would be like, hey, they would throw a fault, and you might have to like do some hacking into the ECU, and, you know, just basically tell it like, hey, it's okay, don't freak out. There's extra, you know, capacity in the battery there, you know. When are those off-road board cells being sold? As soon as I can. Like, I literally opened them right before I started doing this video, so I have to like do some of the tests, you know, figure out if the BMS works, how it works, or whatever, and then like, yeah, I'll if you're not part of our Facebook group, you need to be part of the Facebook group, because it's so easy for me to be like, hey, boom, these are great cells, go buy them. It's gonna take me a while to do videos. I have like a backlog of videos right now that I have to get, and those, you know, it's like they're all super important. So I'm like, this is important, but then there's the other one that's more important, but then there's another one that's even more important. I gotta get out. So if you're on the group, then it's easy for me to just share, like, right now, what's happening. Oh, look at these cells, you know? It's like, and I have so many people hitting me up for cells to sell their batteries. I have another guy from that didn't like it. I don't know. He was like, I don't need you. You're being difficult, right? And I'm like, okay, good luck, you know. And so now he's going back and it's like, hey, okay, I haven't been able to get rid of my cells, so how do we do this, you know? So he's coming back So, too many batteries. Too many batteries, which is good for us because then now we can choose and we can get the best ones, right? Let's see here. At what price do you think the Tesla Model S modules are a better buy versus building your own? I went the Tesla route for convenience. Oh, and when are you coming to do the RV video we talked about? Wait, are you the RV? Wait, what's your name? Man. Yeah, you're the guy that did the RV with the the modules? Well, it's so weird, right? Because like the going rate, how much is the going rate? I think the going rate is like $1,300, right, for the Tesla modules. Let's do the math. Check it out. Oh, come on, $1,300 divided by like realistically, how much are you getting? I have some right here. I still haven't been able to test the thing because it's so much capacity that my charger like times out. So I haven't tried with this one here. Yeah, but let's say that you get 5 amp hours, right? I mean 5 kilowatt hours. So you divide that by 5. So you're talking about $260 a kilowatt hour. I mean, but the thing is, you don't have to do anything to those cells. They're ready to go, right? So if you were to get new cells ready to go, in fact, let's do the math. Cells ready to go, like these guys right here. These are comparable to Teslas, right? They're 3600, so you're slightly higher capacity. So, I mean, fully loaded at 5 amps, they're 3250, right? So let's do the math there. 3.3, let's say, times 3.6. So that's like 1188 watt hours. 1,000 watts divided by 11.88, then that's 84 cells equals kilowatt hour, and that's 3, right? So 84 times $3 per cell. So these, just the raw cells, cost about $252 a kilowatt hour. So you're paying the same price, and you still have to put them together. You still have to get the holders. You still have to like spot weld them, or or if you're gonna get my system of PCBs, that's like another $50, right? So is it a $50? Yeah, it's about $50, $60, I think, a kilowatt hour. So you're talking about the same price. Well, slightly more. Now you're talking about slightly more using my PCBs and these cells. Now, hopefully, building my PCBs it's going to be really easy. It's not going to take a long time. If they're brand new cells, you just pop them in. You can do it. And so that's about the same. I think we're about the same. With the Tesla module, then you're stuck at 6S, right? And in that configuration, that thing that's like that big and it's 55 pounds and stuff. With my system, you have a little flexibility. You can put 10 boards here, then 10 boards there, do 24 volts at 7S, which better matches most of the equipment out there. Or you can do 48 volts, which also matches better 48 volt equipment. You can run it more efficiently because you're running higher voltage. You can run like smaller cables. So way more flexibility. So that's what you're paying a little bit extra there, right? If we do, let's do with the other cells. Let's do with the Chinese cells that I'm trying to get, okay? Because those are different. Those are coming up at 2.9 times 3.6. So those are 1088. So those are like, slightly smaller than that. 1,000 divided by 10.44, right? So you're talking about 95 cells per kilowatt hour. And if those are going to be, negotiated a price to do like a group buy, then I gotta multiply that by $240. Yeah, $240 a kilowatt hour, plus the 60, right, for our boards. Yeah, you're around $300 a kilowatt hour. So it's the same thing. It's like actually that's like maybe it might be a little bit more expensive, these cells, or about the same price actually. It's just you get a little bit more cells. You'll need a few more boards, but it's about that price. So we're looking at about $300 a kilowatt hour. It's almost the same, and all you gain by going the DIY route is a little bit more flexibility. It's there. We're right there. Of course, this is the prices like at $5 a board, right? This is not counting that we're through the economies of scale. We're going to be able to actually crunch that number of the board down, and so we'll see how good we can do with that, and we might end up being less, and that would be great because then you pay less money, and then you get more flexibility. You just have to do a little bit more work of putting the thing together, Let's see. Yes, Emery. Emery, that was your name. Why not go with the 57 volt Tesla packs, 3 kilowatt packs, 100 amps, blah, 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 blah. They are $7.99 at EV West. Which ones are those? Oh, those, the 3 kilowatt. Yeah, I have those. In fact, that's what I'm using in my bus. Those are great. How much do they work? They're kind of expensive, right? Like if they're $800, then divided by 3 kilowatts. Well, actually 260. So we're about the same price, $260, $266 per kilowatt hour. So it's like it's the same. Yeah, except those you're stuck with 15S, which works with Schneider. It works, I think, with Magnasign. You'll be able to use those. So yeah, I mean, there's the great thing about living right now is that we have choices. We could build our own packs using batteries from China or brand name batteries. Liquidate from liquidations, or you could just like get wreck Tesla battery pack and then just use that. I think the Tesla modules would make sense if you were like to buy a Tesla car, and then like you part it out, and then you get your batteries. That way, I think you can get them for like really cheap. Like you might get them for like $900, $800 or something like that. But then it requires you to like make a larger investment. Then you take possession of the car, and then you have to process it, try to sell all the other parts. It's a bit of work involved, and if you value your time, if you make a lot of money, at your job, and you're not necessarily looking for a hobby, then it might end up being more expensive because if you take into account your time. If you use Facebook and YouTube, how can you get anything done? Yes. Well, that's the problem. I don't get enough done as I want to, but eventually, I think you're gonna see me less. You're gonna see less of me on Facebook, unfortunately. I think, but you're gonna see more videos coming out of me, like maybe a daily video. That's my plan. That's my goal. To have a daily video and be more productive when it comes to the videos. That's my main goal and stuff. And so maybe once I structure it, then I'll be like video, and then an hour on social media, and then maybe like an hour helping a one by one. I do all that stuff. I'm doing all that stuff where I'm talking to you guys on fan time. There's like at least one session available every day. So if you have to if you want to discuss a project, then you can go to fantime.com/Jehu, and then you can find a slot that you can talk to me. You can get a hold of me that way, and we can spend like half hour talking about your project. Why or why not use Nissan Leaf cells? So Leaf cells are traditionally been too expensive. Now I think they're down. I have some links at kit.com/Jehu where I found them. Now they're reasonably priced. I think totally you can use them. I want to make a project using them. It's just, again, got to put them in the queue because I have this project, I have that project, I have the other project over there. Oh my God, it's too many projects. But yeah, no, definitely I don't see no reason now other than Price used to be one of them, but now they're expensive. No longer expensive. Now you can use them. Thanks for the answer. I was just being lazy to get the RV done. I do love the idea of the DIY route in home. I was just afraid of my battery pack failing apart on the road. Yeah, no, that's a thing. I think the more that we will see the development of our DIY project, the more builds that you'll see. I think the more confidence that it's going to grow. I mean, even myself, right? I haven't finished the project with it. I'm just done tests here, tests there. I can envision it in my head, I think, more than the average person can, because I've been thinking about it for so long and I've been just, so involved in it. But yeah, I think there's nothing like seeing a project from start to finish and just be like, this is how you do it. This is the product you use. Boom, here are the tests. This is how they're performing. Right, and then like in 3 months later and 6 months later and a year later and be like, how are they doing? Then, yeah, it's almost a no-brainer. You're just like, yeah, let's do this. Justin, Kenny, Jehu the Light of Kala, new 34Bs are 3,400 milliamp hour real and $180 a kilowatt hour. Yes, they are. Except the only reason I don't like is that they're not being completely honest. And so that's why I never liked those, right? Because I was testing those. I've been testing those. I got some of those, and I've been testing. I have a few versions of them, and I'm like, I just can't get behind that. I can't, because they're passing them as like other brands, right? Like they have the color scheme of other brands. So I didn't like that. So that's why I think I went with this other one where we like know where the factory's at. We're gonna provide pictures. I don't have a passport. I have to get a passport so I can go to China and then check it out. Make a video, do the whole thing. They are testing very good for cycling at 85 cycles or so now and are better than the real NCR 18650B. Woo! All right. Have you load tested them though? I mean, can they perform? Well, that's the weird thing. I think capacity I think they can do it. I think it's load testing. I think where they they fall short. I think most of these ones, right? And so of course we're not even looking for power cells or whatever. But I still want to know that they can do it. That they're not going to completely degrade on some event where you push them hard or whatever. Yeah, I just don't want the battery to be the weak link in your battery pack. You want other stuff too. Honestly, Tom's pricing isn't really competitive when you consider these new cells for $180 a kilowatt hour. Yeah, there's definitely been an uprise in the price of the used cells. Now, of course, you gotta keep in mind that Tom is in the U.S. and he's hiring people in the U.S. And, he's actually mentioned to me that he doesn't want to create low-paying jobs for his friends and his family. Because he's hiring friends and family. And I totally agree with him. Like, I wouldn't want to support someone that's just like, So that's a thing also. When I used to make my Jag 35, like, products, right? I didn't want to send stuff to be made in China. Because I'm like, why am I supporting Chinese families, Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, how about us first? Like Trump. America first, right? I mean, I want to help my friends and family. I'm going to hire them instead of, some no-name Chinese little kids over there. And so, definitely, that's a thing that you got to take in consideration. Like, a bottom price, at the end of the day, the price, I think, a lot of us, we make our decision as to, like, how much we get for $1, right? But there's also more involved, right? And so I think that's why I have no problem supporting someone like Tom that is making American jobs, that is keeping all this used cells here in the States. That he's doing his part in doing the right thing, when it comes to like the environment and the planet, right? Like these batteries don't belong in some ship going halfway around the world to China so they can be rewrapped and shipped right back. You know what I mean? Like that would be the 4th trip across the world from China to the U.S. that those batteries will see, and that's what it's ending up in Walmarts and, in these vape shops and stuff. Those are like their second trip around the world, and that's just terrible. Like, imagine all the resources being used to ship those batteries all the way across for what? Like, you could have kept them, and someone like Tom is doing that, right? So there's a whole lot of things that have to take into consideration, but yeah, definitely the choices. I think what we are looking for, and I think at least for me, I'm looking at my thing, and I'm like, for this one project, just used cells are not as compelling as these brand new cells, right? So if I can get a quality product from China, put it on here, I can help a lot of people quickly get up to speed building battery packs, do the Powerwall thing, if that's really what I want to do, right? Like, it would help. It would be really effective in getting a lot of people to just jump on, right? Because the testing thing, it's a huge learning curve. It's a huge investment. You gotta buy like a wall of chargers like me, and I think there's traditionally most of us, we've been the crazy types that were like, yeah, I'm down to doing that. I'm down to like be an expert on batteries, but not everyone's doing that. There's a lot of people that just like, I just want to build a battery. Like, can you help me build just the battery? I get those questions every day, and I'm like, no, I can't, unless you're like willing to like embrace this whole thing, like, head on and stuff. I can't really help you. You just can't buy a thing. I don't sell anything. I can't, point you to someone that is going to build it for you. You can't just pay a guy to build it. We're not there yet, We'll be chatting with you again. Christopher Gray, thank you for the $10. We'll be chatting with you again Friday. Would you mind polling audience if they're interested in 18650s in the DC area, Virginia, Maryland, DC, like we discussed last time? Oh my God, sorry, I'm not going to remember. I've talked to so many people. But I guess if anybody's interested in 18650s in the DC area, Virginia, Maryland, DC, hit up Christopher Grady. How do they contact you, Christopher? How do we do that? Send me an email if you have like an email address or something where people can contact you, or post them in our group. Like, one of the good things about our group is that, like, there's not a lot of rules like some of the other groups, and I allow people to sell batteries there. I don't care. Like, we're all selling batteries, we're all buying batteries, as long as no one's scamming anyone, as long as there's not crazy things going on, people being jerks or people being mean to each other or hurting other people. I'm whatever, do it, do your thing. So yeah, if you have some cells, there's not like a ton of them, you're not gonna overshadow my sales. As long as you're not selling more than me, I have no problem with it. Just make them available to the community. We're all buying. There's plenty of cells. There's plenty of people needing cells. That's the great thing here. You're just a Oh my God, you're such a good teacher. Oh, thank you, Military Industrial Museum. I've learned so much about 18650 and DIY powers from you. Thank you. I'm experimenting with Edison batteries as well. Oh, that's cool. I've heard about Edison batteries, but I don't know if I completely understand what those are. Who's selling those battery modules? Yeah, so I have another source of batteries that are. So a lot of the times, like, people want me to help them sell batteries, but they don't have like a website, they don't have a thing, they're just like some recycling guy, they're like, and they're like, they don't know how to, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of set up, I can set up if you have a PayPal account, we can set it up, you just have to process the batteries. That's a lot of times what I do, right? It's like, I don't want to touch the batteries, I don't want to touch the money will go directly to you, I'm just sending you, customers, right? And then, they give me a cut of that. We'll negotiate a thing. That's a lot of times what's happening with a lot of these batteries. Those are one like that. So there's a person that's selling batteries, and I put up a website. I put up like the splash thing, and then I put it on my, I just promote it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just promoting the thing. Of course, I test these batteries. That's why I got those, because then I got to play with it, and I want to play with them, see that they're real, see what the condition is, see just like kind of like how do you use them, because that's the info. Like batteries are batteries, right? And they're not very valuable unless you have an application for them. And a lot of these things, like that's a kind of a weird module. Like, what do you use that? I mean, I guess it's a 10S. It's a weird 36 volts. How do you use that? I mean, I have ideas how to use them and stuff. But if I don't share that with you, you know, in a way that you can follow along, it's not gonna be as worth. So the people get that, right? Like, hopefully, you know, people that have batteries, they get that without the certain amount of information and experimentation, their battery packs are not worth as much. And so that's why they come to me, and we can hopefully work together and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna make those available pretty soon. Stay tuned for that. To your home, dumb question alert. Are you using your Powerwall to save power, or merely for fun? Well, no, yes, I've saved $600 this year. Well, actually, but that's just for my solar panels. I haven't really used my battery that much. So okay, so in reality, my battery is kind of a backup battery right now. At one point, I was cycling stuff back and forth, but right now, because actually those boxes are empty. I've actually sold all those batteries now, and here's a box. Here's the last few of them, because I'm getting ready to, like, I need to build another one. So mostly it's just sort of to experiment, right? But I'm also saving money, like that. You know, I've saved like about $600 in electricity this year. This next year, hopefully, I'm gonna save more. Maybe I'm gonna be even at zero this next year. So that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, but obviously it's not gonna be the same Powerwall. I probably will change that Powerwall 2-3 more times, because that's just the nature of what I do. If I'm trying to teach people how to do it, if I'm trying to like experiment, if I'm trying to use new modules and stuff, then I need to always just keep building stuff, right? And just because I just haven't been able to figure out how to like fund all this stuff, right? Like, it would be great to be like, hey, I'll fund your project, just come and build it in my place. And then I would be like, okay, I'll build that. And then, you know, there's a wall. And then like, oh, I'm moving on to the next one. I have someone else that it just hasn't worked that way. People are just not, they're just not willing to like just throw money at me and just haven't built something, right? And if they do, it's like with too many strings attached that I'm like, nah, I can't, you know. I mean, I was going to build that giant megawatt hour Powerwall, right? I was on board with that one. And then once we like looked into it and see like, oh man, this is a bigger project than we anticipated. It's gonna take more money. It's gonna take the thing. They weren't on board. You know, they didn't really want to pay me what it would take, right? And I was like, and at that time I had spent way too much time over there trying to figure that out, and I really didn't want to spend more time away from home. So that's another thing, right? Like, I don't want to go for months, like a year, somewhere working on some project. What did it do? Rocket's being, you know, that dog over there. New member, welcome, Richard Jesh. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Wait, so that's when you become like a member? Like, that's a different thing, right? Did you just become like my, what is that called? That's so weird. I should know this, but I don't. I'm like, that's the thing where like, oh my god, now it doesn't want to click out of there. Come on, man. No, come on. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna have to start the chat again. Whoops. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Anyways, welcome, Richard Jesh. Thank you for supporting me to this thing. I'm not camera ready. I'll have to throw it at him. That might get messy. Oh, wait. What happened here? I haven't read those. Did you say that the food was ready? Is that what you said? Oh, I didn't read it. There's too many comments. Let's make a lithium ion portable welder. Oh, that sounds interesting. Send me an email. I don't know enough about like what the energy requirements for a welder, but that sounds like a cool idea. So I'm actually working in the next generation, next version of the solar generator, and it's gonna be about 10 times bigger than what I built originally last year, right? So last year was like a little box this big, right, with like incredibly with about half a kilowatt worth of batteries. This one's gonna be this big, and it's got 10 times the output, and hopefully I'll be able to put more than about half a kilowatt hours worth of energy. Yeah, I mean, I still don't know. I'm like, I might have to change I'm still working on the design, but I want to have like something compelling that compares like twice the performance of that Kodiak one for half the price, you know, and that's what we're doing. So I'm working on that one, but that's about the size, I think, that you will be able to get a welder, I think. I don't know enough about the welder's power consumption, but yeah, let's do it. What performance you're after? Okay, 600 is the real good because how big is your one? Okay, come on. Oh, you're saying $600. How big is your solar? A couple hundred watts, like maybe 300. Well, it's actually more. I have like almost like 1,000 watts of solar panels. But they're those roll-up ones, right? And they're facing the wrong side. They're facing north when they should be facing south. So it's not ideal. But even like this, in those conditions, $1,200 worth of solar panel or $1,500 worth of solar panels. Well, it was $1,200 for solar panels, and then all the other stuff I think was like $1,500. It's still going to, they're still gonna pay like in 2.25 years, right? Like, I think they're on track to do that. This month, I'm actually tracking how many kilowatt hours they're producing differently, because the other way it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, I think I'm like at one side is 30, the other is like a 45. Yeah, so 45. I think like I'm a 45, 50 kilowatt hours this month. Yeah, I'm halfway, so it's gonna be about 100 kilowatt hours, and they're being created on a time of the day when they're worth about 50 cents a kilowatt hour. So the math, it's about $600 a year. How many batteries do you have in your house? Oof, too many. Unfortunately, right now, most of them are not on the wall being used. There's like hundreds and hundreds. I'm stocking. There's like, that's like, how many years are that? Oh, that's like 1,000 cells right there, I think. Yeah, there's all kinds of them. I lost count. Like paying a version of subscriber. Oh, okay. That's how that works. I feel like I've been here for a long time, so it's official, says Richard Jesh. Oh, thank you, Richard. Yeah. So what did you click? You just clicked on the yeah, what did I don't understand. Like YouTube is kind of weird. By the way, I had a conversation with Twitch today. They actually offered me a partnership deal thing, and I'm like, well, what do I get for the partnership? And so they're like, well, you can make more money. You can make money off of ads. Oh yeah, I'll take it. I don't take my food. I haven't eaten.
Catch.
Come on, you're not on frame. Come on. All right, got some food. I'm actually doing this thing where like it's almost like 20 hours between meals, so it's like intermittent fasting, and I've been hearing get a lot of good things about it, and it just kind of works for me right now the way my schedule is. I'm kind of Except today, I don't think I ate enough, right? I think I had like 800 calories in the morning, and then like probably like another 500 calories for dinner. So I'm like, it's just not enough, right? So I'm like, I'm hungry. So I'm actually eating. I'm gonna eat really late. This is probably the latest. Usually it's like by 5, like 4 hours ago is the last meal I have, and then I don't eat till tomorrow morning at noon, which is like 19 hours in between the meals. And so I think, I guess today's not gonna be as much. Battery hoarding, yes, it's happening. No, I'm gearing up for all the projects that I'm gonna have this next few months. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, the Samba alone is gonna be a crazy. That's gonna be a huge battery. I think it's gonna be like, I'm 48 and I'm trying to do better than that. So I think I won't be happy unless I get like somewhere around 60, maybe 70 kilowatt hours. That's gonna be a huge battery. And I'm gonna build all those, modules from the ground up. They're gonna be custom modules because they gotta fit. I gotta be able to fit all those batteries in the Samba. So every single module is gonna be custom made. And by the way, a lot of those modules are gonna be able to use them for other stuff. But well, yeah, we hope so. Hi, do you have an idea if I can increase my 48 volt 13S4P battery cell pack to a 13S AP without breaking the pack down? Initially built this for my e-bike, but I need more power. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see it. How is the pack put together? Like, you'd have to do like a lot of rerouting, which is not ideal, I think. Yeah, I'd probably need to see more information on that pack. Welding will take around 12 to 20 volts, 70 to 300 amps. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's doable. As you guys saw in the last video, batteries can put out some amps, Which, by the way, we don't know, but I know there was more than 400 amps because that's where my clamp, overloads, and it was overloading instantly when I was plugging that thing in there. 12:30 a.m. in Canada. Yeah, it's late up there. I still want to know if you fixed that charger. No, I didn't fix that charger. I put it together. It didn't work. I put a light bulb and it turned on, but then as soon as I connect it straight, and it gives me an error, like a low voltage error, but then as soon as I connect it straight, then it makes this like funky noise, and then it turns off, and then it cycles on again, and it makes a funny noise, and then it cycles off. I think it's the driver. I think the MOSFET drivers are done, and so I have to change them. And again, like I explained, I don't have the proper equipment, and I just don't have time to like really get into that sort of like, surface mount soldering. I've seen how it's done. I know that you like have the little gun with the air and it seems too much involved that I want to get right into that right now, right? I was wondering why you don't have solar panels or a dual fuel generator. With the dual fuel, you could use propane, a lot cleaner versus gas. I have solar panels. Yeah, so I don't need a generator. And I have a backup battery system here. So actually see that box right there? Oh, boy. That box right there it's actually live right now. It's got batteries inside, and it's got an inverter. When the power goes, like if the power were to go out right now, this stream would be interrupted, but the only reason it would be interrupted is because I have equipment for the internet on the other side of the house over there. But as far as this room here, this wouldn't change. Like, it would be powered. This would actually take over instantly, right? And so I do have part of my house set up that way. And it has happened, by the way. I've been sitting here, the power goes out, and I don't realize, they come and tell me, hey, the power's out. And I'm like, really? I didn't notice. Because it went out in the rest of the house, but not in my office, because I'm You know, I have backup, battery backup in my house. And I do have solar, but it's, you know, it's wired different at this point. Eventually, I will have everything tied together. And yeah, it's just too many projects, too many things that I'm trying at the same time. What's the best way to hook up those SPIM 08 HP? So I am going to try and use some kind of rivets to put them together. Hopefully that's going to work. I have some here that I can do some tests, but that's happening pretty soon. So that I can put that together in that. I'm using actually those cells to do the next generator, the next solar generator. All right. I think I'm going to call it quits here so I can eat my dinner. And then we'll see you guys in the next videos. So many videos. There's so many videos coming up. And so many. This one is going to be exciting. Well, I don't know. Depends how excited you are about learning how to test batteries. But I think it's going to help a lot of people figure out, you know, if a battery is real or not. Then it kind of, you know, demystifies the whole system. Because I think a lot of people don't know how to test batteries, or you know, how to tell if they're real or not. You know, and I mean, it's a thing that I'm still kind of learning, but I think I know enough, or at least I need to kind of share with you my process so that then I can say, and by the way, using this process, I have found some gems in China that I'm gonna make available, and I'm gonna offer a group buy, and so we're gonna buy a bunch of them. I want to buy a bunch of them so I can build a pack using Chinese cells, and you know, and have a real idea of what it would take to build one of those using the new cells as compared to like U cells. That one right there, that whole thing has U cells right now. Hey, no. So yeah, we'll be able to compare those two and see how they perform and stuff. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be excited. Thank you guys. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your donations. Thank you for any patrons in the chat here. I want to thank you guys. You guys make all this possible. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Yeah. Stay busy and positive. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Alrighty. Look at it go. Hierro. Oh my god! Let's talk about the EV West M3.
I'm Michael Bream with EV West, and 7 years ago we started our little electric car speed shop so we could help people make classic cars go faster. At the time we were looking around for venues and there wasn't a lot available to electric cars, and we came across Pikes Peak and they actually had a class. And we ended up building the car, purpose-built for Pikes Peak. We ran the race in 2012. We ended up setting a record for the fastest street-legal electric car to go up the hill.
Now the car that Michael is talking about is the famous M3.
342 horsepower and 850.4 pound-feet of torque.
A few years later, I saw it. I saw a documentary on the building of the Twin Towers, and it turns out they're so close to the ocean, they needed to retain all that water. So they had to build these walls. And each one of those little things there are screws. They're just rods, steel rods that are going through the bedrock to hold that wall. And this is not the only, this is probably the last one because the building was right there. So this is
I think those are
one.
called anchor bolts.
Anchor bolts, yeah. And they call those walls slurry walls. Crystal's covered up like it was sandy.
I'm cold.
So you want to build a DIY Powerwall. I'll show you how to do one. Using these as batteries and these as your inverter, you can build a small DIY Powerwall. Let's get going.